So what we're doing today, we're still working on systems of equations. Okay? That's not changed. What we're doing is finding a solution that works for a system of equations, for a group of more than one equation. Okay? And we're just gonna be doing two. Okay, we're still solving systems of equations. Okay, yesterday, how did we solve systems of equations? What did we do to find the solution? Carson? You graphed, okay? Today, you're not going to graph, okay? Today, you're going to use substitution. Oh my gosh. All right. So when we do substitution, what do you think of when I say substitution? What do you think of as far as math goes? House. Yeah. If I said, tell me the value of x plus 1, can you tell me the value of x plus 1? You can't. Why? Because you don't know what? You don't know what x is, right? And you can't combine those because they're not like terms. But if I said, tell me the value of x plus 1 if x equals 2, then could you find the value? Yeah, because you substituted, okay? So it's kind of the same thinking along that line, okay? When we have equations that we are doing substitution for, okay? If I have this system, okay, I've got 6x plus 8y equals negative 24, and then I've got y equals 3. Okay, now I could solve this by graphing, okay? But what do you notice about that first equation? It's not what?
It's not in slope-intercept.
It's not in slope-intercept form, okay? I could get it into slope-intercept form. I mean, that would not be an issue. I could get that into slope-intercept form, but we don't need to do that, okay? And that second one, well, just like when we did x, that one that says x equals 4, it was a vertical line at 4 on the x-axis, right? So if we had y equals 3, what do you think that's going to be? It's going to be a horizontal line at y equals 3. So we could graph this and get an answer, but I'm going to tell you it's going to be a lot more work, okay? We're going to do substitution, okay, for this system. And just like yesterday, every single answer is going to have an answer that has an x and a y value. That's an ordered pair. Okay, and what is that called? Anybody remember? Our solution, your solution set. Okay, because this solution will be part of our set. Now, this actually is pretty easy. Okay, if you look at this as two separate things, okay, what do you notice about this? One of these says y equals something. What does y equal? Y equals 3. Do we already have half of our answer?
Yes.
Because you're trying to find an answer for x and y. So I already have half of my answer. I don't know what x is, but I do know that y is what? 3. So I can automatically replace my y with 3. Okay? That part's easy, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 3 and I'm going to go to my other equation and I'm going to plug it in for y. Okay? So let's bring this one down here and we have 6x plus 8, but instead of y, I'm going to replace it with what? 3, because I've already told you that y equals 3, right? So this is going to be 3 equals negative 24. Now it just becomes what? It becomes an equation that you're going to solve for x, okay? So 6x I can't do anything with. Can I multiply 8 times 3? Plus 24 equals what? Negative 24. I have simplified this down to a what? Two-step equation. It's a two-step equation, right? Okay, so if I have a two-step equation, remember, I'm trying to solve for this. I'm going to deal with that later. It goes in the box. What's outside that box?
24.
A positive 24. How do I get rid of a positive 24? I'm going to take 24 from here, and I'm going to take 24 from here. Leaves me with 6x. Those cancel. And what's negative 24 minus 24? Don't say 0. Negative 48. Good. And now, how do I solve for x? I divide each side by what? By 6. And if I divide everything by 6, that tells me x equals what? Negative 8. And then I go back to my solution set, and I simply plug in negative 8. Okay? You kind of see how that worked? It wasn't that difficult, was it? Okay? try another one. Okay, you want to copy that down real quick, Shemaya? Okay. All right, let's try another one. Okay, here's my equation. I have negative x minus 3y equals 10. And then I have y equals negative 5. Okay, let's start our solution set over here. Do I already have anything I can put in my solution set?
Negative 5.
I can put a negative 5 there. What place does that go in? The place of the x or the y? So this is going to be what? Negative 5. Right? Everybody with me so far? Okay. Now how can I use this to solve this equation?
Plug the y and plug the negative 5.
Negative 5 in for y, right? Good. So we'll move this down here. So I have negative x minus 3. This is no longer a y, it's a negative 5 equals 10. I'm going to tell you right now, there's a potential for mistakes here. Okay, and I'll show you where. Well, can I simplify this at all?
Yes.
Negative x, what's negative 3 minus 5 times negative 5?
15.
So plus 15 equals 10. Okay? You with me so far? Now I've got a one-step equation. What do I need to get rid of that's keeping that x from being by itself? 15. So I'm going to subtract 15. I'm going to subtract 15. Negative x equals, what's 10 minus 15? Negative 5. Now, what's the problem here?
The x is negative.
The x is negative, okay? You can't leave your variable, when you solve completely for a variable, you can't leave it negative. Does anybody remember the trick that you do? Carson?
Don't we just put it over something? Or
That's a negative exponent.
okay.
Kemper?
Put it on your 1.
No.
You take out the negative in the x and the 5.
Okay. Essentially what we're doing to get rid of a negative, this is the same thing as a negative 1x, right? Agreed? That's the same value? What you're going to do to get rid of a negative 1x is you divide it by negative 1. Well, when you do that, you change the sign of this, and you change the sign of everything on the other side. So if this is a negative 5, what does this become? Positive 5. Okay, it's kind of like a little shortcut. And here's why. I can show you. If I have negative 1x equals negative 5, if I divide everything by negative 1, this is x. What's negative 5 divided by negative 1? Positive 5. Does that make sense? So if this number was positive, what would it become?
Negative.
It would become a negative. Okay? So now, do I have my answer?
Yes.
I can go back and plug this in where? Right here. That's my solution set. Okay, we've done 2 examples. This is part one. This is part A. Before I move on to part B, are we clear on this?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to try one completely on your own. Okay, I'm going to give you a problem. You do this one on your own. Okay? I want you to find the solution set by substitution. This is 2x plus 8y equals negative 18. And then I have y equals negative 3. Okay. Raise your hand when you get an answer for this. Okay, you got 2 of you, 3 of you with an answer. 4 of you. Five of you. Okay, is anybody stuck or are you just still working? Okay, so keep working if you're not done. Do I already have half of my answer? Because I know my y value is what? So where's that negative 3 going to go? Right there. Okay, now I'm going to bring this down and plug it in. So I have 2x plus 8, but instead of y, I'm going to replace that with a what? Negative 3 equals negative 18. Everybody understands what we did up to that part? Okay, 2x I'm not doing anything with, so I'm bringing it down. Plus, what is 8 times negative 3? Minus 24 equals negative 18. What do I have now? A two-step equation. Okay, So you don't have to use the box. Some of you guys have moved on from using the box. It doesn't matter. Okay? But I know that there's a negative 24 outside of that box. How do I get rid of negative 24? I add 24 here, and I add 24 there. So I'm left with 2x equals, what's negative 18 plus 24? 6. Divide each side by 2. And what does x equal? 3. Okay, good. How many of you got that right? Okay, pretty good. So we understand that part A. We're good on that. Okay, good. Because part B is a little bit trickier. All right. Half your worksheet is like that, and the other half is like this. Okay, what's different? You're going to approach this the same way. Okay? But on this system, I have 8x plus 7y equals 0. And then I have y equals 4x. What's different about this one? What's different? Carson?
There's a variable in that like this.
Yeah, I don't know what y is because y, I don't know what y is until what?
You find x.
Until I find x. So now I've got to solve for x first, then I got to solve for y. In other words, I don't have half of my answer yet, do I? Okay, so now we're going to approach this the same way. I'm still going to have a solution set, okay, but at the beginning I can't put in either one of those because I don't know them yet. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to plug it in. So let's bring this down. 8x plus 7. I'm not just going to put a 4 there. What am I going to replace that y with? A 4x equals 0, right? So this is 8x. What's 7 times 4x?
28x.
Plus 28x equals 0. Can I combine these two?
Yes.
Yeah, what's 8x plus 28x? 36x equals 0. Well, if I divide anything into 0, what is it?
0.
So I know that my x value is what? 0. Okay, do you see how we found that 0? Okay, that looks like a 6. There. Okay, now, what did we do last time? When we know that x equals 0, what did we do when we knew what one of the variables was? We plugged it in, right? So what do you think I'm going to do to solve for y? Plug it in, right? Okay, so this gets easy. If I go to this y, now you could plug it into the bigger one, but you know, less work is better, right? So if I have y equals 4x, but I'm going to replace that x with a 0, what is 4 times 0? So what's my answer? 0, 0. Okay, do you see what we did there? Not that much difficult. Okay, now they're not always going to be super simple like that where they're both zeros. So let's do them where they're not, okay? Does everybody have that written down? Okay. Let's try this one. All right, I've got negative 3x minus 2y equals negative 8. And then I've got y equals negative 2x. Okay. Well, what should I do here? Do I have either part of my answer? Do I have an x value that's by itself or a y value?
No.
I don't. So I'm going to put my parentheses up here because I know my answer is going to be a set. All right, let's plug in. Who can give me an idea? What should I do? Brock, what should I do? Let's bring this down here.
Take it down and then add the 2x times 2.
Plug in the negative 2x, right? Okay. So negative 3x minus 2 times negative 2x equals negative 8. Everybody understand where this came from?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's simplify. Negative 3x. What's negative 2 times negative 2? So plus 4x equals negative 8. Can I combine anything here? What's 3x plus 4x?
X.
1x, or just what? X equals what? Do I have half my answer now?
Yeah.
But this is not going to be over here. Where's it going to be?
It's going to be right there.
This one, because I solved for what? I solved for x. Okay, now can I use that to go solve for y? Okay, I'll do this in a different color. We'll do this one. I know that y equals negative 2, but instead of x, I'm going to replace that with a what? Negative 8. What is negative 2 times negative 8? Positive 16. And that would be my answer. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Are we good on that? Okay. And just so you know, if I graph that, I would get the same answer. Noah?
I'm
Can you simplify it? No, because it's not a fraction. It's not a ratio. It's an ordered pair. Okay, because they're factors of each other. But no, you can't. All right, are we good? Here's why. Think about this. If that's where those two lines would intersect, if I graphed it, if I simplified that to -1 over and 2, it wouldn't be where they intersect. Does that make sense? Okay. All right.